As we see the Nintendo Switch receive more and more success over other consoles, and even edge out other Nintendo's handheld devices, I want to take a look back at my favorite Nintendo DS games. The benefit of having dual screens was evident from the get-go. Game devs really had a new playground to play on, and new questions to answer. What do we want on each screen and when? Should the top screen be an extension of the bottom screen? Should the bottom screen be inventory, options, or a mini-map? How do we take advantage of the stylus in a fun, inventive way? The new potential was huge. While vastly improving upon the SP's design, there were also many other practical aspects of the DS. When not in use, all you would have to do is close it up in suspend mode, and the screens would be protected and your game saved in the current state it was in, which was a hugely helpful feature for every gamer on the go. So with that, let's jump into the games bred from this wonderful milestone in handheld gaming. Welcome to my top 10 DS games. Each game has been specifically picked and ranked by the little bearded child in my heart. Please let me know what your list would be below. Wait, bearded child, I was freaking 18 when this thing came out.
Number 10.
In 2008, developers Jupiter and Square Enix teamed up again to create the game The World Ends With You. You can easily tell that much of their previous game, Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, gave flavor and aesthetic to this hot DS title. The World Ends With You is a punk rock teenage battle royale of sorts, akin to being digitized and locked in a hot topic with other teenagers. You basically play as a malnourished Sora and Kairi, and they share daily missions with other characters. If they fail the mission, they all get erased. They're all digital and invisible. There are reapers and composers. You can imprint thoughts in people's heads and scan any area to fight strange monsters. Okay, look, the story, needless to say, is rich and complex as you'd expect a Square Enix game to be. Now, what really set this game apart for me, and I imagine many others, was the beautiful comic book style work of the dialogues and cutscenes. This, combined with the extremely unique combat style that requires some getting used to, and expert multitasking, made this game quite the unexpected trip for me in my early 20s.
Number 9.
My next game needs little introduction. I love it so much that I created a whole show on this channel based entirely around the structure of this game. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney is an enhanced visual novel crime investigation game. As I've said before in my completionist treatment of the game, the pre-trial and evidence gathering phase is a bit slow and dull. But oh baby, the trial phase is hot, hot, hot. You've got your evidence, you're ready to prove bitches wrong, you're ready to roll with the punches, and point that finger of justice where it rightly belongs. It's compelling, there's twists and turns, there's doubt, vengeance, lies, romance, and of course, cold-blooded murder. It's very exciting. Something I haven't discussed much is how integral the sound design of Phoenix Wright is. It's very dynamic, with provoking an emotion during exciting parts that get the player undeniably hype. But as soon as you're used to the fat beats, the game rolls out times of unsettling silence. With design that good, each trial phase in this game essentially becomes a flowing piece of art. You're invested in it, you sway the outcomes of it, and all the while you're having a ball fighting for truth and justice. I know you're all familiar with the famous Phoenix Wright point and word bubble objection, but as a last thought, I need to give a shout out to the authoritative badass hand slam Phoenix Wright does. Hit me once with that real quick. Whew, oh baby, that's nice.
Number 8.
The next game brings my love for DDR straight to my fingertips. And I suppose straight to my stylus tip. Yeah, you get it. Elite Beat Agents is a wonderfully funky anime tongue-in-cheek take on the rhythm game genre. The game has some extremely popular music from my generation at the time. They had Madonna's Material Girl, Avril Lavigne's Skater Boy, Believe by Cher, Good Charlotte's The Anthem, and yeah, they're covers, but who the hell's complaining? I'm not. I operate on a platform that crucifies anyone that even sniffs a popular song in their videos. Oftentimes, handheld rhythm games get a bit underestimated, but make no mistake, there is some delicious challenge to this game. Along with the game being silly, funky, and fun as hell, it can get super dark at times. It's those times that pull me back in if I start skating by on autopilot. One story involves a girl's dad dying. It's kind of f***ed up. You're tasked with using your stylus to ensure a prepubescent girl deals with the loss of her father in a healthy way through dance and rhythm. What the hell? What is the take-home message here? Each successful passing of a section within a song grants more narrative development within each vignette. The agents have to help, there can be no failure, and not just because you have to restart the course, but also because, Christ, the game briefly shows the fate of the people you're trying to help if you do fail. Failure has added consequences. For a game of its time, that was pretty damn rare. Sometimes I specifically fail the early levels out of sheer morbid curiosity. That begs the question, where would I be now without the Completionist? Maybe a video game tester? Best Buy manager? Okay, don't look at me that way.
Number 7.
Man, for 2006, New Super Mario Bros. For the DS was hype as hell. We hadn't had a proper 2D Mario game since Super Mario Land: The Legend of the Six Golden Coins. That sweet red case and that big boy Mario was a beauty. At first, it seemed it was just a design choice to have Mario giant on the cover, but oh no, that was a brand new spanking part of the game. Mario can get real big and wreak absolute havoc. And alternately, he can also get even smaller than he's ever been before. Now, besides Big Boy and Small Boy Mario, the second thing I noticed was that the Koopas and the Goombas react to the background music. They're perfectly in sync with the stronger beats. They hear the music and enjoy it, or it has some strange control over them. Who's to say? Then there was the huge mechanic additions. The wall jump and the ground pound hadn't been a 2D side-scrolling Mario game until this point. This game also introduced the 3-coin collectibles, cumulatively mandatory for level progression and completion. At the last second, Nintendo tacked on some quick Mario Party-esque mini-games. They were often perfect breaks if I was getting slipped up or needed a change of pace. But overall, New Super Mario Bros. DS is one of the best returns to form to the 2D platformer to ever happen on the Nintendo DS.
So nice.
Number 6.
Contra 4 DS is balls hard in the best way possible. It is so difficult yet addicting. It just keeps you coming back for more. It's that spirit of being in the arcade that is hard to recapture nowadays. I love any reminder of that experience, especially when I don't have to worry about feeding quarters over and over again. Way forward's use of both screens was executed nicely for world building and scope. Not to mention the pixel art hasn't aged a day. I love all the pixel backgrounds, characters, and bosses, but definitely not these goddamn bullets. How do they keep getting me? I'm sorry. Okay, Gerard, just learn to retry, get better, carry a big fucking gun. I'm sorry for the crassness, guys. This game really gets the man out of me. Brings out the man in me. You know what I meant. Contra 4 trains you to be a master. You have to learn everything if you want to get anywhere. One-hit kills means you must strive for perfection at every step of the journey. You must memorize every level and every enemy and projectile with pixel perfection precision. It's these types of games where you chisel your flaws and mistakes away until you craft a true master no-hit run. I channeled my inner Rambo, my inner John McClane, and my inner Chuck Norris until I crushed them all. And the best part is that Jake Kaufman made all the kick-ass music while I was doing it. Let's go!
Number 5.
What is essentially Wind Waker for the DS is my favorite Zelda game on the dual screen system. The Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks is a wonderful train trek through the ocean, under the ocean, and all the spaces in between. For an entirely touchpad game, the controls and gameplay function quite well. And for 3D graphics in 2009, this game looks stupendous. Some of the models look a little bit rough around the edges, but in general, the game is still aged pretty well. And if we're talking about comparisons, I prefer Spirit Tracks way more than the Phantom Hourglass. The story is cute, compelling, and ironically, Zelda's a pretty solid ghostly sidekick. She isn't dead per se, but as a ghostly figure, she aids you in rescuing her. For much of the game, she possesses hulking phantoms, which are massive sets of armor. The sweet, small Zelda princess inhabiting a behemoth of a knight that follows Link around like a puppy is quite funny. Last, but unquestionably not least, is the train aesthetic. It's the real draw for the game. Woo woo! All aboard the Khalil Express, we're off to the next dungeon. You know, I know the trend nowadays is to put Thomas the Tank Engine in all of your games. I would love to see a Zelda mod where he just shows up and you just hear that music. That has to exist by now, right?
Number 4.
The best Mario and Luigi game by far, in my opinion, is Bowser's Inside Story. When this game came out, it was kind of a big deal. This game broke so many Mario norms in the best way. There was narrative continuity, you could play as Bowser, and it starts the player out in the belly of the beast with far more questions than answers. One of my favorite ways for any game to start is in a dark, mysterious place barren of information, clues, or context. The game gradually unfolding as you play is not only a great way to learn about the game, but as a narrative experience as well. It's so motivating and exciting. Hell, even the boss fights are expertly crafted. They are nuanced puzzle battles versus just survive and hit tasks. The game really tests your brain and brawn and your ability to adapt to whatever's thrown at you. As with most Mario RPGs at this point, the combat in Inside Story is so interactive and engaging, which makes even grinding battles their own mini-games, and I can never get enough of it. The game still looks fantastic. The aesthetic and style of graphics prove time and time again that they simply don't age. As a last note to the franchise, I can't help but love the little Italian plumber gibberish that Mario and Luigi spout in this game. It is adorable as all hell.
Number 3.
Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum are the best Pokemon games. Don't at me, but you have to understand, there was a time when I just stopped playing Pokemon games altogether. After playing the first generation in the 90s, Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum brought me back into the franchise, which was a 15-year leap for me. I had a DS, I saw that there were new Pokemon games coming out, and I figured, yeah, a Pokemon game on the DS sounds tight actually, and I was right. The fourth generation of Pokemon games brought a lot of great features. Most notably, you no longer needed a link cable to play with friends. You could battle and trade wirelessly, something as kids we only wished for in our wildest dreams. Plus, these games added online functionality, so Pokemon games evolved from a 10-foot link cable to worldwide wirelessness. But even without all the multiplayer features, Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum were just straight out fun. I dug the designs for the starter Pokemon, I adored the fact that some of the older Pokemon got epic new evolutionary forms, and the Pokemon battle format really lended itself to a dual screen platform. Some others may say that these games are far too slower paced, and after playing more recent Pokemon titles, namely Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, I can see where they're coming from. But to me, I think I have a soft spot for a slightly slower experience. I prefer to take my time selecting an attack, and I like being able to just wander around in the snow or in a cave and take everything in. I can just appreciate the scenery and the cool pop-up book type visuals. These games made me fall in love all over again with the Pokemon franchise. And with it being easier than ever to get them a Champ or a Steelix, how could you not like these games?
Number 2.
I have sunk many hours with my friends into Mario Kart DS. Mario Kart DS did so much with so little. It's an absolute beast on the DS with how much there is to do. And Nintendo whipped out Mario Kart with online play. Online support in the time before updates and patches had to be scary, especially on a handheld device. There were of course great race mechanics and Grand Prix you could race and unlock. But Nintendo took it a step further and not only added a single player missions mode, but made each and every one incredibly fun. As if that wasn't enough, they framed it around a 6-world system with a boss at the end of each, and each boss fight is different from the last. They put extra time into this mode to ensure that every level felt unique. I always respect that particular attention from detail when it comes to Nintendo games. All of the courses are fantastic as well. Baby Park from Double Dash made it in this one. Waluigi Pinball was brand new and gorgeous, and we as a fan base learned the huge difference between Bowser Castle courses and Bowser Castle courses. All of these levels and courses are dope. I just get jacked thinking about them. And you know I'm all over getting those unlockable characters. How can I say no to driving as Rob in the Gyromite cart? Come on here, folks.
Number 1.
Okay, my absolute favorite Nintendo dual screen game of all time has got to be Tetris DS. Now wait, Gerard! How could such a simple game be number one? Well, dear viewer, who for some reason doesn't know how to pronounce my name, it's because it's simplistic and nuanced complexities. Tetris DS is a beautiful love letter to Tetris fans and Nintendo fans alike. Yeah, there is no solo player campaign of sorts, but it truly does not need one. Each game mode is strong enough to keep you going for hours. The multiplayer is fantastic. Push mode is addicting as hell, and honestly still hard to perfect and get my mind around sometimes. But the biggest, most awesome thing about Tetris DS is the fact that Nintendo dug deep with the Tetris company to make it so that it's skinned after Nintendo franchises. Mario, Zelda, Metroid, Yoshi's Cookies. All the NES games that I grew up loving and knowing are integrated into Tetris seamlessly. The Metroid puzzle mode uses all the same Tetris blocks you know and love and weaponizes them. The creme de la creme of these modes is the marathon mode. 20 levels and 200 lines sounds simple on paper, but combined with gradually increasing gravity, it is no easy feat. On your run, you're treated to classic themes from Mario, Donkey Kong, and Zelda, and then we get even weirder with the visuals or sounds from Balloon Fight, Ice Climbers, Excite Bike, and even Duck Hunt. For the final stretch and that last push, they whip out the tune Tetris fans know and love since the dawn of the first Tetramino, Korobeni Key, for the last 10 lines. Marathon mode for me is a truly challenging, fun, beautiful, and wholesome gaming experience. But more importantly, that describes Tetris DS as a whole. From all the flair that is the Nintendo iconography, Tetris DS does one last thing that comes full circle for all Nintendo fans everywhere. It's the fact that Tetris was the first game on the Game Boy, and it's proper enough that it's one of the best all these years later on the Nintendo DS. So that's today's video. Let me know what you thought about my list somewhere in the comments down below. And hey, let me know what your list is. That's it, that's all guys, and I'll see you all next time.